Mother Nature showing no mercy. In just seconds, an evacuated hotel gone. A severe flooding in Pakistan turned roads into rivers, leaving more than half the country submerged in water. These are desperate scenes as people hold on to ropes to reach safety. We don't know whether this man survived. Nearly 1,000 have been killed so far, hundreds of them children. Those left behind are homeless, hungry and helpless.
So far we haven't received any help from the government. Our kids are lying on the road. We don't have anything to feed them. We don't have a tent for shelter.
Make no mistake, climate change is behind these apocalyptic scenes. Usually at this time of year there would have been 3 to 4 spells of torrential rain, but Pakistan has had 8 monsoons, with more expected.
This is a humanitarian disaster, Ji, of epic proportions. Thousands are without shelter, many are without food, and people are stranded. We need to ask not just the provinces and Islamabad, it is beyond the capacity of any one administration or government.
It is a crisis which has left nearly 6 million people without shelter. The government have declared a state of emergency. But as the country's Prime Minister visited the worst affected, another storm is brewing. Many here feel recent political upheaval in the country is making a desperate situation even worse.
What is exacerbating the situation is, I think, the political crisis in Pakistan, because the government is not stable. It is like facing the threats from the opposition and it has to deal with that. That is something that people are worried about, that it can affect the rescue and relief efforts of the government.
While it is a global climate crisis, there is another thread to this tragedy. Despite having a relatively low carbon footprint compared to the world's big polluters, Pakistan are among those left feeling the full force.
Well, joining me now is Jawad Ali Khan from the United Nations team in Islamabad. Mr. Ali Khan, what is your assessment of the scale of the humanitarian emergency now in Pakistan?
I think this is unprecedented because it has broken the records of the last 30 years. At least 3 times to 5 times higher than the last 30 years rainfall. Karachi city received 400 millimeters rainfall in just probably 2-3 days. So I heard the minister saying that it is, and since last 2-3 days, we are having our regular meetings, even with the donors and with all technical agencies who are responsible to respond to the challenge, like national disaster management authorities, provincial disaster management authorities, and the situation is beyond anybody's control because it is so widely spread out and it is unaccessible. Even some places are not accessible by helis because of the bad weather, because the weather conditions is not allowing even the helicopters to fly and reach out to the areas where people need help.
And you said that you haven't seen, just to ask about the cause of this, because officials are talking about very clearly that this is the effects of climate change that you are seeing. Is that what is your message on that to countries, big polluting countries, when Pakistan is not among them, but you're seeing the effects right there on the ground?
Yeah, actually, I am also the former Director General of the Ministry of Climate Change. I worked for more than 35 years in the ministry, and we have negotiated at the international level the climate treaties and everything. So actually what needs to be done is that all countries, all parties, irrespective of the developed and developing countries, have to join hands and have to develop a strategy or a response mechanism which can really bring about 1.5 degree temperature globally. So it is kind of, there has to be a collective response. Only then the countries which are more threatened can be saved or can be salvaged,
Right.
So
Jawad Ali
Pakistan.
Khan, Jawad Ali Khan, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.